So what was your first, or where was your first contact with Islam?
So where it actually happened was we started a sales company while I was actually in Warsaw, me and 4 other guys. And we all started building it up. Then we'd never met each other in person. And they're like, we should all go meet up and do something. So we all decided to go meet in Turkey. And we all flew out there. And one of my business partners was actually a Muslim. So he was the very first Muslim I met. And there was something very interesting about him because I'd never met a Muslim. To be fair, I probably didn't even know what a Muslim was. I'm going to be 100% honest. And he acted a certain way. He wouldn't let you pay the bill. I could hear how he talked to his mom on the phone. He was very kind. He gave a certain presence. I was like, this is fascinating. So I'd start to ask him questions. And at the hotel we were staying at, he'd pray. And I was getting intrigued. I'm always curious. One of the 3 words I said is eager, right? I'm eager to learn. And so he started introducing me to things. I started asking a lot of questions. And him and I, out of all the business partners, we were getting close, building, friendship outside of business. And we decided, let's start traveling together. I kind of told him my plan is just to go to a different country every single month. We'll figure it out once we're there. And he said, I'll tag along. And then right before we go, plan where we want to head out to, he says, well, actually, my family's in Pakistan and I want to go visit them. Do you want to come with me? And I was like, no, I don't. I don't want to go to Pakistan because I assumed Pakistan was just dirt roads and donkeys. And yes, that was mostly accurate. It was dirt roads and donkeys. But I did love it. So I decided to go with him. So we booked our flights from Turkey. We headed to Pakistan. And then once I landed in Pakistan, that was my real experience to Islam. He was my introduction to what a Muslim is. And then I really got, enveloped in Islamic traditions once I was in Pakistan.
And that's where your journey to reverting to Islam began, I assume.
Yeah.
And just kind of tell me about that, because I'm Roman Catholic. I was born in Brazil. Most Brazilians are Roman Catholic. And I've actually become recently interested in Islam. And I started reading the Quran. But how did it start? I mean, what made you pick up the book and start reading and educating yourself? I mean, it's so curious.
Yeah. Well, an interesting thing is we're always going to become a byproduct of the people we spend time with, right? So if I had never spent all that time with that business partner and went to Pakistan, maybe I would have never become a Muslim. And that's why people can get turned away from certain religions, right? Christianity, Islam, whatever it is, because they spend time with people who actually represent that religion poorly. And I think that's why it's really important, if you're religious, you need to set your best example, because that's what will bring people to your religion. So for me, I just got very enveloped in the cultural things that they did. And I've always been a person, I'll hang out with everybody. During high school, I go play Dungeons and Dragons with the nerds, and then go party on the weekends with all the cool kids, and then go to the skate park with the skater kids. I would hang out with absolutely everybody. So I was always yeah, I'll just experience it. I didn't have any intention of becoming a Muslim, but my friend would go pray in the mosque. Yeah, I'll go pray in the mosque. My friend would read the Quran. I'll read the Quran. Why not? Read a little bit before I go to bed. And I started finding peace. I just started finding a lot of peace in the religion. And an interesting thing that haters on social media would like to say this to reverts, that they're usually revert to Islam because they're missing something, right? Oh, you're trying to patch that thing. Oh, your relationship with your father. An interesting thing for me, I can't relate to any of that. There was nothing, I've been very blessed. There was nothing bad that was ever happened really in my life. So it's not like I had any, I was trying to solve any major problems. I was happy. I was a very happy person. But then I started noticing, I was like, wow, I just feel incredibly peaceful when I was at the mosque. And so I'd go pray, Fajr, which is the first prayer. Muslims pray 5 times a day. First prayer is 5 a.m. in the morning. And I'd go pray. And then after prayer in the mosque, the imam there, would be the leader of the church, right? He would give a lecture. And they were speaking Urdu. I didn't understand it. And I'd sit there and I'd listen for 25 minutes. And I'd just sit there and kind of listen to what they're saying. I didn't know what they were saying. But there was some impact, something there. I don't know what it was. And it just started to intrigue me. It made me want to learn more. So I started reading the Quran. I started getting really curious, asking my friend and then the people at the mosque questions. And I kept going down this rabbit hole. And then what started reinforcing kind of me looking into it was the people in Pakistan, I've said this so much, were so kind. Like they would come up to me and just, oh, it's so amazing you're here, Muslim brother. And then my friend would be like, oh no, he's not Muslim. They're like, oh, inshallah, he'll be Muslim. And they're all just very kind. So that's really what led to it, is just being reinforced around positive people who represented Islam in the right light.
How long did it take you from the moment you started, let's say, reading the Quran until you took your Shahada?
Like a month.
Wow.
Very fast.
That was quick.
Yeah.
So how much had you read? Because sometimes I feel like, okay, do I have to read the whole Quran before I take this step? Like I have all these thoughts in my head, like how much of the religion should I know? You did a month's work of reading and going to the mosque, and then you decided this is for me?
Yeah, because I think I saw the religion beyond the book. So I think if you're an American who has no Muslim friends, you don't spend any time with Muslims, and the only way that you learn about Islam is by reading the Quran, it might be hard for you to find that connection, right? That real connection. But I got so immersed into it immediately. Like I was going to people's houses. I was going to random Pakistani people's houses and having dinners with their family and didn't even speak the same language. Like I don't even know how he did it sometimes. And we would just be there. And I got to see these people and I got to see how they operate. And they lived lives that seemed amazing. And for me, to give context on this, from a very young age, I was exposed to people who were incredibly financially successful, right? I've been around a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people who just have millions of dollars. And then I went and spent time with a lot of Muslims in Pakistan who had no money. And I was like, wow, these people all seem way happier. Like there's something here. All of these people are happier than all of these millionaires I've met in Dubai. It's like, so there's something going on. So when I reverted to Islam, it was less of like, I have a full comprehensive understanding of the religion versus I feel like I'm very open-minded. I've experienced a lot of different things in a lot of different cultures. There's something different here. And I think it's the truth.
And when did you take your Shahada? Were you in Pakistan?
Yeah. So what led up to me taking my Shahada was I had been praying Fajr in the mosque. And like when I was listening to the Imam talk for 20 minutes, I'd sit there and I'd go, I want to take my Shahada. I want to go walk up to him and tell him I'm going to take my Shahada. And then I wouldn't do it. And then the next day, I'd sit after Fajr, I want to take my Shahada. And then the next day, and I wouldn't do it. And I remember one day, I go, okay, after Fajr, I'm going to take my Shahada. And I sat there, and then once again, I didn't do it. And I walked home. Mosque is about a minute away from where we live. We're on the top floor. I take the elevator up. I get in the elevator, goes up floor 1, goes up floor 2. We're on floor 3. Gets there, power in the building shuts off. I'm stuck in the elevator. And I instinctively go, oh, well, that sucks. I might as well pray while I'm here. I'll use the time efficiently. So I sat there and I prayed. And I prayed for guidance. I prayed that you guide me on the path that's best for me. You show me the truth. And after about 20 minutes of praying, I realized, although the power in the building was off, the elevator would still open. And I thought to myself, I was like, wait. I didn't even try to open the elevator. First thing was instinctively, I'm going to start praying. And I'd been wanting to take my Shahada. And I had had a very firm belief in my entire life there's no such thing as coincidences, because you can track back your entire life why things have happened. And I was like, there's no way, not a coincidence, that I've been wanting to take my Shahada. I didn't even try to open the elevator. I just started praying first. So I said it right there. I'm like, I'm going to go inside, look up how you take your Shahada. So I walked inside, flipped up my laptop, YouTube, how to take Shahada. Did it myself, and then did it officially in the mosque the next day.
That's great. You are so wise beyond your years. I mean, even the coincidence, I also don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens for a reason, perfectly at the right time. But talking to you, it seems like you're such an old soul. Do you see yourself as an old soul?
Yeah, so a firm belief that I hold is, as a young person, you can condense time frames by actively learning from other people, right? They say a smart person learns from their own mistakes. A wise person learns from others. So I was very blessed from a young age to get to spend in-person time with people who were 30, 40, 50, very successful in whatever field of life. and get to learn everything from them, right? Weekends, weeks of just being surrounded by these people. And I soaked in as much knowledge as I possibly could so I could avoid all the mistakes they've made, right? So I think that if you're young and you have to try at it though. You can't just listen. Like if you go listen to YouTube, you don't apply anything, that's not gonna help you. But if you listen to people who are older, more successful, or more experienced, they don't have to be older, more experienced, have more life experience, you can excel how quickly you learn things. And then what this does is it just gives you more wisdom when you're younger. And that's also why I wanted to go travel to a bunch of countries. Because I was like, okay, the average person who's 50 has been to like 3 different countries, right? And going to different countries opens up how you view the world. It gives you more perspective on different cultures. So my thought process was if I go to a bunch of different cultures, a bunch of different countries in a very short time frame, what this is going to do is it's going to help me mature quicker. It's going to give me more perspective on the world faster, which will then again give me more wisdom. So I'm a big believer in condensing time frames. Like people just waste time, right? If you think about the average American, how much time they spend on their phone, how much time is spent not even like watching Netflix or scrolling, just doing nothing. Like the time between the laundry and the getting ready for bed. So it's like if you eliminate that time and fill it with things that are productive, you can just increase how much you learn at a very fast rate. So I always feel I'm incredibly wise for my age, but also I always look back like 3 months ago and wow, like 3 months ago I was like a child, right? And I know in the next 3 months I'm gonna look back on me and I'll listen to this podcast right now and I'll go, wow, like I was a child. So it's just keeping that constantly going.
Good for you. So going back to your Shahada, when you reverted to Islam, can you actually, for our audience, explain why they say reverted to Islam and not converted to Islam?
So Shahada, just so anybody knows, it's pretty much the testimony that there's only one God. So it's like, I believe there's one God, Allah is the only God, there's no other gods, and Muhammad is his messenger. So that's what the Shahada is. And the belief behind why it's called revert and not convert is because the Islamic belief, what we believe is that we're all actually born Muslim. Regardless of where you are, we're all Muslim because when we come to this earth, we were with the Creator before we came here. And then some people, we're all born Muslim, we're all born sinless as children, right? Innocent. And then obviously, sometimes you're born into a non-Muslim household or your life leads you on a different path and everybody has their own path. But we all start as a Muslim. So when I took my Shahada, about 2 years ago, it's not that I was becoming a Muslim for the first time. I was just coming back to the truth. That's the belief.
Okay, thank you for that. And then what were your parents' reaction?
So I've been very blessed to have really amazing parents. Like I talk to them all the time and very supportive. But I didn't know they'd be supportive, right? So I was definitely concerned. I didn't tell them immediately. Took about 2 weeks to tell my parents. Told my brother immediately. Called him like he might have been the first person to find out. I'm pretty sure he probably told them, but they didn't act like it. So it took me some confidence. I was like, I'm going to call my dad. I'll tell my dad. 2 weeks after I took my Shahada. So I call him. We have a regular conversation. I go, Dad, there's something I want to tell you. And he's like, yeah, what's up? And I go, well, I became a Muslim. Pause. There was silence. There was no response on the end of the phone. And he goes, yeah, we figured so. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you're living in a Muslim country. You're living with a Muslim. Yeah, we figured so. So what's that mean moving forward? That's all he said. That was his exact response. And it's a really big blessing because that is a struggle for most people who do revert to Islam is their family can't comprehend it. And it's hard for them to understand. But I've had very supportive parents who, they're the reason why I'm so open-minded. So it'd be hypocritical if they're like, oh, we taught you to be open-minded and now you're open-minded. So bad on you.
So true. That's right. Well, good for them and good for you.